Well, I think we've known literally now for years, a couple of decades, that Iran seemed determined to get access to nuclear weapons, and frankly, that's unacceptable. I think this president has shown the courage and determination to stand up to Iran and really safeguard the interest not only of Israel and the United States, but the entire world by putting an end to their nuclear program, and we hope that's been achieved. There is a fragile ceasefire in place, and hopefully that will stand, and ultimately we would hope that Iran will come to the negotiating table and recognize that the best thing for their people and their country would be to come to terms with the United States and the peaceful nations of the world about how to move forward. I think the president has put his foot down in a very determined way, and hopefully both of the combatant countries make the right decision here and back away from the hostilities that have been going on for the last week. I think it would be in the best interest of both groups, and I think the U.S. again has made clear we will not accept a nuclear-armed Iran. I think that's in the best interest of all parties concerned. I think the sooner they come to that realization, the better off the people of Iran will be, and certainly the safety and security of the entire Middle East region and the world will be enhanced by that. So my hat goes off to the president for having the clarity and acting decisively and communicating where the United States stands in a way that I think could not be confused.
As a 24-year Army veteran, married to a 30-year Army veteran from a family of veterans, I would say we've had successive presidents from Clinton all the way through President Trump talk about Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. This is finally a time where we actually made action on that. So I think that action is going to keep both people in the Middle East, people in the United States, and people around the world safer. We all agree that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. And quite honestly, the sleeper cells and the numbers of people on the terror watch list that came across our southern border under the Biden administration's open border policy is just as great a threat as anything that we're seeing in the Middle East. Let me just say that President Biden did 3 strikes in Afghanistan in August of 2021. The strike that he sent without notifying Congress killed 10 civilians. It was a UN vehicle. 7 of those were children, and Congress was not notified. So the president has the authority to have a strike, a military strike, under the War Powers Act, and also under Article 2, and also there is still an existing authorization for use of military force, AUMF, in 2007 that was addressing Iran because of its support and harboring of al-Qaeda. So the president has the constitutional authority to do this. Again, had we not sent pallets and billions of dollars in money to Iran, had President Biden not allowed Iran to skirt sanctions, those other type of soft levers that we use to achieve results may have been effective, but they were not. We know that Iran was on the cusp, on the precipice of developing a nuclear weapon that they could put on the tip of a missile, and that would have been catastrophic for the world. Everybody agrees with that, so I think it's finally time that we took words and put them into action, and I do think that what President Trump did was a necessary action.
I'm sure Iran is still reeling from what happened. So the fact that the mainstream media has not gone out and done their own due diligence in person, I think it's kind of the part of the palace intrigue to try to create multiple narratives out there to what really happened, just because I think they love to try to spin the president up. I mean, at the end of the day, we have got 2 longtime enemies that are standing down. They're not fighting each other. You've got some stability happening in the Middle East that has not happened in decades. So, I appreciate what the president's done. I'm sure the damage there is pretty catastrophic. And I really wouldn't want to be Iran digging myself out of that rubble right now. There's no way that mission on Saturday would have been as successful if it wasn't for the training and the expertise that comes out of Northwest Florida. Whether it be the escorts with the F-35s, you name it, the expertise, the training, and the know-how came right from Northwest Florida, and I'm so proud of the sacrifice of those men and women, but more importantly, their families that allow them to serve our nation.
Well, I think there's tens of thousands in the Middle East right now. What usually happens in these cases is rather than permanent movements of troops into a region, they might be rotated. That's why you see the Navy assets more Navy assets being deployed to the Red Sea, to the Gulf, for presence, to ensure that Iran knows, we know where Iran lives, deterrence. But I don't think that moving assets, moving people to the region in large numbers is as important as staying focused on the diplomacy that's necessary to put severe limitations on Iran's development and nuclear program, as we had before the Trump 1.0 administration pulled out of the deal.
Long overdue. And he's catching some flack and some criticism from the Democrats. And quite frankly, the Iranians have been at war with us for 40 years. They took 100 hostages in 1979, kept them 444 days. I happened to have been in the military at that time. And then in 83, they killed 200 or 300 U.S. Marines in a deliberate strike. They have proxies that are going after us. My own son had 3 tours to Iraq as a Navy SEAL. Much of their IED, the enemy's IED technology, guess where it was coming from? The Iranians. They're the largest exporter of terrorism around the world. And how many presidents have said we cannot allow the Iranian regime to have nuclear weapons? How many? 5. 5 presidents said that. Only one acted on it, and that was Donald J. Trump, most decisive president in my lifetime. He did something about it. He eliminated that nuclear threat. I think it's going to make for peace, which will be of great lasting endurance. And sometimes you've got to flex your muscles. And peace through strength, I think, was shown very vividly. And as the ancient Greeks said, you want peace, prepare for war. And that's exactly what President Trump has done. And he's shown friends and foes alike that he's not afraid to act in America's interest.